My name's Tabitha, and you probably see me invade Facebook. Anyways, but I just want to say to people all around the world my testimony of what Jesus has done in my life, and it's a life process. Anyways, I know you don't need to talk too much, but okay. Okay, so how it started was when I was about, I don't know what age it was, I think it was 10. When I was 10 or 11 or 12, basically I was in year 7, okay? Year 7 onwards, basically it started there. I was really depressed. I remember when I came back from school, every time basically, and through my mind I'd go through everything that people said to me that was mean and stuff. Basically, that's how it worked. And I would kind of cry every night because I felt really lonely, and it wasn't helpful in my family because I kind of locked myself away, isolated myself basically. And so I'd always try to put stuff in front of my door because I didn't really have a lock. But so I didn't really feel I could talk to my family about what I went through and stuff and what I was going through at the time. But I was raised in a Christian family, and you think that no dramas happen, but they do, because the reality of life, it isn't easy at all. Anyways, and basically I had a lot of unforgiveness. I've realized that now that God's revealed that to me. I felt God reveal that to me. I had a lot of unforgiveness for all those people, people who used me, and even towards my mother. And I've realized recently that I didn't really know my mother a lot, and it's still a healing process. And I'm glad that I have Jesus in my life because for a long while, after all this depression and stuff, I've realized now that there's a huge deep wound to do with my mother. And well, you don't know, but anyways, basically I'll get to that later. At the end because that's recent stuff. But anyways, I was depressed for 3 or 4 years I think it was. You see, I can't remember it because Jesus kind of I asked him to take the memories away because I really hurt, and he has. And but yeah, I need him to kind of put them back out. Anyways, basically I was really depressed because I had a really good friend in year 3, and I don't know if anyone knew her, but I don't want to tell her name because I'm still friends with her now and I care about her heaps. Still today. And basically I kind of felt that she rejected me and didn't care about me anymore. And she kind of went to drugs and sex and alcohol. And I really care about her still, and I miss how we used to be still. But people make their own choices, and I've made mine. And and basically because of that, I felt more depressed of losing my really close friend who was kind of like a sister to me. And basically from that just triggered off me wanting to cut myself. So I used to cut my face, and I cut my hands right here and stuff. But because there are places where it just looks like it's your palm of your hand, but I actually cut myself and stuff there, and I'm not proud of it. And I cut into my arm, kind of jabs into my arm as well, at the time. And I went through a lot of breakups. People used me, but I allowed them to. because I was looking for love. I mean, who isn't looking for love, right? And I really I wanted someone to love me for me, and like basically I was looking for that in guys. And I went to Brisbane Water Secondary College, and from people who know me, they know who I used to be, so you can see that Jesus has changed me dramatically if you look at me today. Basically what happened was I threw myself at guys, and I allowed them to use me in more ways than I should have. But from that, I realized that no one's perfect, and the guys are also probably looking for love too, But I'm sure they are. But basically, so I got into a cutting motion. I was depressed, very depressed, to the point where it actually felt like torment. I would go for every single thing that people said to me that day at school, and it got to the point of I started thinking suicidal thoughts, and it was terrible, because one day I just basically said there's nothing else that can, basically F up my life. At the time I swore a lot too. I said there's nothing else that more can F up my life than it already is. And it's like basically a living hell, I basically said, from what I can remember. And so I kind of just did anything that night that I said that, and I'm not proud of it. But that's also when I saw my friend, just being drunk off her face and not really there for me at all. But I wanted to look out for her because I cared about her still, even if she hurt me heaps. But anyways, that's one of the worst nights of my life, I think, that happened. People were getting high and drunk around me, but I stayed with them anyways. And hanging out with the wrong crowd, but they're still beautiful people, and that's what I saw in them anyways, and I still do. They're very beautiful people that I hang out with. And what happened all after that, the cutting and the suicidal thoughts, you kind of start to act on them. And so when people are actually cutting themselves, don't take them lightly, because they actually mean it sometimes. Well, from what I know, they do it because the reason why I did it was not for attention, because I'd hide my cuts. If people know me well, they knew that I hid them, because it was inner pain, and cutting myself on the outside was helping me, like a few seconds or a few moments every time I cut myself. So basically I got addicted to doing that because it helped me a bit every now and then. And I tried alcohol once, I tried weed. I did it once, but I remember thinking, if this doesn't help me straight up, why would I continue with it? So I just didn't continue with it, because if it doesn't actually do anything, there's no point in continuing it. That's what I've realized. And basically, so I'd been dumped by many guys, and I went through relationships just like trying to find, and then basically I had a name basically called Ganger, which at the time, because I was blonde, I had to say, I didn't know what it meant. Thought it meant gangster, but now I realize it means slut. Anyways, kind of good that I didn't know that it meant slut, because I would have been pretty upset, more so on the time. Anyways, basically I had a name, slut, around school basically. And that's kind of like a name that people put on you, I guess. And that's, I guess, kind of what I was, from the way I was acting. In a way, I was trying to find love. That's why. And then after all those years at school being like that, people started to notice that I was really depressed and stuff. But they did. I felt like a ghost. I would sit there at lunch, and I'd I actually wanted to talk, but to get help. But when I sat there, all I could do was stare into space. I was that in pain. I held the pain so much in, and unforgiveness in as well, that I just, all I could do was stare. I could just stare into this like space, and I couldn't talk. And inside, I was saying help, help, but I couldn't say it with my mouth, literally. And after that, I remember one of the big parts to play of my life starting to change. Well, basically, what I remember was I was in religion class at school, and my teacher put on this thing, and it was really sad, but at the same time, I wasn't really paying attention to it because I was just sitting there crying and crying the entire time, and I was just weeping and weeping, and so my religion teacher was really nice, and I got his number because I needed help, and I asked him to talk to my parents, but because I just don't feel like I could talk to my parents, and my parents did the best they could raising me, and I still believe that right now because they're still, they're amazing, beautiful people, and basically, he talked to my parents, the religion teacher, and started to see if they could, sort things out. But at the time that I was going through this, my sister had just got pregnant out of wedlock, and I think she might have had a baby. So basically, all the attention went to the baby and her in that situation. So I wasn't getting any help. But my parents, if you're a parent that happened to your child just recently, who just got out of wedlock and pregnant and stuff, I think they were devastated because my family's Christian and stuff, so they weren't expecting it, I guess, and so they didn't know what to do, and so they obviously, that's why they didn't really tend to me, and it's not really all about me, and that's why I didn't want to go to my mum and dad, because I did care about them, so I didn't want them to be in more pain knowing that I'm so depressed and upset and suicidal. So I just needed to get it out, so I ran away for a day, which wasn't that long, but I slept under this place, and I sat there just crying the whole night with this big teddy bear, I remember, and came back the next day, and they'd called the cops and stuff to find me, and they were really upset. And my dad, because he helps mental people, that's what he does for a job. So I was talking, before I talked to him, my parents were, my mum was crying in the lounge, and my sister was saying, how could you do this to my dad, which is fair enough, I would be saying that. You made him cry, and he never cries, basically what she was saying. And I just, when you say that to someone suicidal, it doesn't really help. But, fair enough that they said it. I get it. And I kind of sat there just taking it in. I couldn't say anything to it. There was nothing to say to it. Because I love my dad deep down. Still do. And, man. Okay. I don't want you to think I'm so emotional, but trying to put a testimony and crying about it, so you guys believe that Jesus is real, but he is real, by the way, but that's not the reason why I put it up here, because there's other people who go through these things. Anyways, so basically, what happened after that is I just couldn't say anything to it, so after I went to my bed, and I just, isolated myself again. And before I went to my bed, basically, I went to the toilet, and I just sniffed, basically, gas stuff to get me to sleep with a cloth. I don't know what it only made you for a few seconds happy, but it didn't, it didn't help that pain, that such deep pain in your heart. So I went to bed that night, crying, the usual, and next day, things got a little bit better. My family realised I was going through pain and stuff, but it still hurt them heaps. And, the family was recovering a bit from it. And but my dad was pretty upset still, and sad, and was sitting in the car with him, and was just saying, Dad, I need some depression pills, cause yeah, and he was just sitting there, kind of just, you could see the look in his face. It's pretty upsetting, cause I love him, and praise God that it's not like that now. And he forgave me, and I didn't end up getting those depression pills because I kind of there was one night before I even started thinking of getting depression pills. I told him that, but before he did ever get them to me, I think he said, let's see what happens, and kind of thing. And oh man, thought I wouldn't cry in this one. Okay, basically, I say basically a lot, but anyways, okay, got home, family started getting a little bit better and talking to me and stuff a bit, but I kind of still didn't get to know them that well, and lack of knowing them because of isolation, for 3 years. Of the times that, like the 3 years, and I actually grown up and can remember things. I can't remember anything from 7 upwards, which is, I don't know if it's good or bad. I think it's good. But basically after all this happened, I remember I was in my shower, and I'm still suicidal and stuff. I'd just run away, and all the stuff had happened, and I'm in my shower, and I'm crying because I believed in God. I always believed in him, I believed that God was real. But anyways, and in my shower, and I'm crying out to like something. I'm in my heart. I am on the floor. I'm literally on the floor in the shower, and I'm just leaning against. I'm just sobbing everything. I'm just like, like thinking that no one would go to my funeral if I killed myself anyways, and thinking all these ways to kill myself in the bathroom, and it's pretty painful, so I just didn't know if I could do it. And sometimes I just want to stop breathing, so I'd hold my breath, but then my lungs would get all tight, and I just didn't want to, and the fear of going to hell, of killing myself, I believed that. I don't know if it's true, but I believed that I would go to hell if I killed myself, so it stopped me. And because I thought it was murdering yourself, basically. Anyways, and so I'm sitting there in my shower, and all this stuff's going through my head, and I feel tormented, basically. And I'm screaming inside my heart, like, because before I thought God hated me for all this stuff, because I've being used by guys, basically throwing myself at them, and doing, that's all sin, basically, and I know that, and I did it anyways, but because I really needed help and I wanted love, no one was giving it to me, and so basically I thought God hated me. So I'm in my shower and I'm crying out, and I'm saying, if anyone can hear me inside, saying anyone, and I'm saying it inside my heart because I can't even say my words in my mouth because I'm in that much pain, and I'm just crying. I say, if anyone can hear me, God, if you're real, or I believe you're real, but God, if you're here, or you can help or something, just if anyone can hear me inside here, help me, help. And I'm crying that out, and I remember that day was pretty hectic, in a bad way, and I'm sitting there and I'm just crying, and I get to bed that night crying, because just even looking at myself in the mirror was such a, I hated how I looked, I hated life, I hated people, so I had unforgiveness, and looking at myself in the mirror made me cry, because I thought I was just so ugly, and that's why I cut my face, and so that's what triggered off the, just in the shower, crying, sobbing, and anyways, and after all this, I just lay in my bed, just crying, basically. It just, it was horrible, and I don't know if I cut myself that night, because I cut myself a lot of nights, too many to count, and sometimes I would hold a knife to my neck just thinking, if I ended it, but just all that, and even wanting to cut my heart out because it just hurt so much, and just those thoughts just completely tormented me all the time, and suicide thoughts, thinking no one would come to my funeral, no one would care, and no one understands. And anyways, and I used to, when I came home from school, I would always call friends for help, and I'd say, I'm pretty upset and I need help, and no one helped me, basically. But after that cry for help in the shower, a few days, I don't know how many days, could have been 2 or 3, I don't know, I went to school again, usual, and my Christian friend, she has a lot of friends, a lot of things to do, but she actually started hanging out with me, and our friends are friends, but they've also got other friends. But yeah, she came to me, and she's like, you know what, you should come to my church, and she just invited me to stay over her house one night, and I was like, yeah, sure, like thinking, hey, what the heck else am I gonna do, just cry and cut myself when I get home, basically. So of course I was gonna go somewhere. No one invited me to their place barely ever, and so I went, and I realized, I'm not the only one who goes through hard things, and there's other people that go through harder things than just me. And so it kind of helped me realize that, I'm not the only one struggling with things. And I kind of said that she should come to my church first, so I went, and it was like Good News Church. It was awesome. It's a good church, people, but it wasn't the church for me that God wanted me at the time. And she brought me there, and it was a Friday night, I think, yeah, and was sitting there, and and she's like, come to my church, let's just go. And then so I was like, okay, and it was down the road from her church, and so we ran, and I can't remember, I remember clearly just running down the street. It was so funny, just running to church. It was cool. And I ran with her, and got to a church, and this is what a church should be like, When I went into that church, Hope Church, when I first came, I remember, like, clearly when I first came, like, people's eyes didn't judge me, and they like, I don't know what I wear. I used to wear very flimsy stuff, so I don't know what, but I know that they weren't judging me, and they just had loving eyes for me, and they were like, oh, hey, and it wasn't fake, and they handshaked me, and, and my friend introduced me to heaps of people there, and I got to know people, and it was really, really encouraging. There was something different about this place, and so I could feel an atmosphere of something. I don't know what it was, but at the time, and then youth started, and I went up the stairs, and I felt something different there, and I didn't know what it was, but I felt something different. And the next 4 weeks I started going, because there was something happy that brought happiness to me, just a meaning to life. Coming to church was a meaning to life for me, because it didn't have any other meaning. And then after 4 weeks, I was actually really shy. I was actually really shy at youth when I first came, and really shy. Can you believe it? Anyways, and I was kind of scared to go out for prayer, and my friend who brought me there first, the first time, she went up, kind of, and I went after her, and I got prayed for, and when I got prayed for, when I got prayed for, I felt this love, this beautiful love that I've never felt my entire life, that I was looking for. And this love this said, I heard him so clearly in here in my heart. I can't explain it because it's just so amazing, but I felt in my heart, I have never hated you, I have always loved you. And And ever since then I can remember that voice, and that he never hates us, he's always loved us. And he's not a condemning God. And you know what really fascinated me the most? No other religion or so-called God actually came to me except for Jesus. So even if any of the other religion gods were true, none of them came to stop for me. None of them answered that cry except for him. Because I knew that I was the one thinking that he, Jesus, Yahweh God, was the one who hated me. I thought he was the one who hated me. And he was the only one who answered me in the end anyways. So he was the one who truly loved me. And this is why I know Jesus is real. And after this I repented and from my heart. And I said all my sins. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Jesus. I'm sorry to everything I did to you. And every tear I felt that I cried, just it healed my heart a bit, every little tear. And I'm not saying healing is an instant process. It's a lot of time takes to heal, but Jesus heals. He's a healing Jesus, not a condemning Jesus. Oh man, I need some tissues. And basically after that, I kept going to church, and my life actually started to change. And I started to become joyful. I actually started smiling, not fake smiling, but actually real smiling from the inside out. And I just kept going, and I made lots of friends. I never forget that day. And I'm still friends with them on Facebook, even if I'm in a different country now. I'm still friends with them. They're beautiful people. And that chick who brought me to church, she's one of my best friends still. And so I thank God that he answered my prayer, because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. And I wouldn't think that I have meaning and purpose to life. And man, I mean, it's been a huge journey. It's only been 2 years I've been with him for. And I did slip up again in the way. But you know, we get back up again, we follow him. It's that choice of choosing to follow him. And if we mess up and make mistakes, it's to choose to go back to him. And not to go back to our old ways, because sometimes it's hard. And after that I had a boyfriend, and a Christian one, and I screwed it up pretty bad, I have to say. I was really selfish. I think I was very immature. I was. I didn't really understand relationships after all the non-Christian relationships I had. I didn't really understand it, and and I didn't put God first in the relationship, so that's why it went kapoosh. And we broke up, and it was actually because of God. And I'm not saying that it was a bad thing. At the time I did, and I didn't believe it was God at the time, but because he said, God's, saying this isn't getting anywhere. And so went out for 8 months, and we broke up, and it actually really hurt. And I tried to go back to cutting, but I heard a little voice, that same little voice. And because that's what happens when you have idols in your life and you don't put God first. That before you cut yourself and stuff, and you get really upset, and you think that person's your everything. But you know what, if I didn't put them as an idol in my life, I would have, I probably wouldn't have cut myself. Anyways, and I cut help into my leg, and the scar's still kind of there, but God's kind of practically always healed it, so praise God. Anyways, but sorry for the weeping. Anyways, okay, so I heard a little voice on my bed in the morning, after, I think it was 2 days, I don't know, a few days after the breakup, and I just didn't want to get up. I wanted to cry all day. I just wanted to cry all day. That's how much pain I was in. I hated him. I have to say, I really hated him at the time because of all this pain. It was actually a lot of my fault of why I did this, and, but anyways, and I heard this little voice inside my heart again say, it's different this time, you've got me. You've got me. And, I know that was Jesus again, because it was that same little voice. And so I just got up that morning, no matter how hard it was, I got up that morning, and man, those months were so hard. And so I understand people who go through breakups. It's not cool. It's not cool. It's not something to muck around with or be immature about like I did. But and I feel like an idiot for what I did to him. And I always hope that he has fully forgiven me, and that and that he will get a good, nice girlfriend, and that I haven't freaked him out. But I realized from all this, again, to God's glory, and to the good of those who love him. That's what it says in the Bible. And what I learned out of this, it's amazing how I can make something from ashes into something beautiful. I realized that God is the highest love, and that he loves us so much. So much. And I say that with a heart that started to be healed from all that stuff. From him, with Jesus. And I can look back and, we can look at the stupid things, but we can also look at what Jesus turned from stupid into beautiful. And I praise and I thank you, God, that you saved me. And then I'm here to tell the world that there is a purpose to life. And I say it crying because it's so true. And there's a battle going on for our lives still, which I feel right now. But Jesus always wins. He's the winner, and we're victorious in him. And I just want to thank you, viewers, who have used this. Bless you, and may it touch you, and may God's love just be upon you, and may you experience him today, and that Jesus isn't the dude who died on the cross and still is on it. He's the beautiful being who died on the cross and got raised from the dead, conquered death, and gave us victory. And I believe that everything I went through was to do with selfish reasons. I was selfish, but at the same time, there was an enemy who was attacking me with words in my mind and on me. But greater is he who is in me than he was in the world. And Jesus lives in me. So I want to thank you guys for listening, and God bless you. Amen.